Hey, what's going on? This is Eric. I'm in the studio today, and behind me is this new series that I'm working on. Um, and just started here in 2020. So, this whole grayscale series. What's up, Carlos? Um, yeah, I just wanted to update everyone on the print giveaway winner. Um, Winner was Alberto Ray. I used a random number generator, so everyone got a fair shot. But thanks to everyone who entered and signed up for my email newsletter and website. Um, yeah, it's been a whole process building that whole thing up and just kind of getting started on like this whole new business and marketing edge to my art. So thank you to everyone who supported, and Carlos, thank you for buying an original piece from me. Hope you like it. Um, yeah, Alberto is actually um, uh, was a professor of mine back in undergrad at SUNY Fredonia. Yeah. um, and so that's really cool to be able to give him a print of my work. That's fun. Also, just wanted to remind everyone that I've got a sale happening. Now that the giveaway is over, I'm still um, giving people 25% off coupon to anything on my site. And then it's going to run until the 26th. So it's kind of like a celebration of the new website sale. I am still working on the site, so I haven't even really scratched the surface on my inventory and putting it up on the site, and it's going to take a long time. But I'm just kind of pulling out some new stuff on the site and some kind of like, greatest hits of stuff that I've done over the past maybe, I don't know, 8 years. So it's going to be a slow process, but yeah, let me know if you see anything that you like, and I can upload it to the site, and you'll be able to see, all the different print options available for that. Or if you just want to buy the original, you can just hit me up and just DM me wherever you can find me. Email, Instagram, Facebook, ECM Vision Studio. Yeah, so that's just like a little update on the website and stuff. But I'm currently in the studio, which I'm finally getting back into. I know pandemic is still happening, but I don't know. Got to move on and get back in the studio. So I brought all the work that I've been doing at home, which is a lot of these smaller pieces here, and brought them to the studio, put them up on the wall, and it's cool to be able to see them all together and just take a look at them and think about them as some kind of a story. I'm not quite sure how it's all piecing together yet, but yeah, it feels cool to see it all together. I'll do a little bit more up close action here. So my studio's in Chinatown. I'm gonna view the street there. Got some other works behind there. There's this guy. So you can see the stark contrast of what I was doing. This painting is called Meeting. It's 30 by 40 inches acrylic and spray paint on canvas. There's some really cool textures happening here with the spray paint mixing with the acrylic. and working with the tunnel imagery. And then here you can see I'm starting to work with the hands. These are kind of like the beginnings of forming the hands a little bit more. Eventually I'm going to get this up on the website and make it available for different print options. This is like a brand new piece. Just started it. A friend of mine came over and saw it and he's like, it's done. And that's hard for me because I have a tendency to overwork a little bit. So this is like one session of painting, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna take it easy on this one and see if I can maintain kind of a subtle approach to it. But I'm pretty happy with it so far. Also got the open hands going on this one. And then, so these are the ones I've been working on at home. Playing with a little more abstraction these days too, and the figurative. So both of these are kind of like new directions. I've always had kind of abstraction and kind of figuration, but I've been kind of pulling it to the ends a little bit more and getting closer to more like direct figuration and more kind of pure abstraction. And these are little studies for that. Same thing with this one. And then working the landscape work that I was doing before, and adding some figures. This one's a little bit more playful. It's called It Dances With You. All of these are 8 inches by 6 inches. Acrylic and ink on paper. This one's called Out of Nowhere. I'm a huge fan of Ghostbusters, so in some ways I think this is like my adult self interpreting some kind of personal dreamy interpretation of Ghostbusters. As a kid I was always fascinated with the movie, and now as an adult I'm getting a little bit more fascinated with the concept of ghosts and whether they exist or not, but more like what they mean. Haven't quite fully developed it yet, but this one is called Matrix Sack. I got this figure and this little egg floating over this grid, the matrix. This one I'm really happy with. This one's called Moon Meditation. Ink and acrylic on paper. And this one is inspired by Chinese poets that I like to read and have been influenced by over the years. I like Chinese landscape painting. Some of the poets are like Tu Fu and Wang Wei are two that are really influential to me. So there's that. This one's called Walking Through Shadows. Get a little closer. So there's different kinds of layers of ink washing, and then more flat layers of paint, and then kind of cartoonish imagery mixed with abstraction. This one's called Podcast. Kind of an abstract thought about that word. I just think it's a funny word. And so I just took the word and made my own interpretation of it. This one's called By the River's Edge. This one has a little bit more of a narrative feel to it. And still kind of figuring out the story. On it. Sorry, my studio neighbor just came by. What's up, Spencer? This one is called Smoking in Space. I really like this one. This is a little humorous piece. I've been trying to play around with funny concepts like smoking a cigarette in space. So this one's called Sometimes You Don't Get Second Chances. It has a little bit more of a serious tone. Open hands are becoming this sort of symbol for me to use to kind of communicate an openness towards, something greater than yourself, maybe in a spiritual way, maybe in like a, just giving to other people, being more open to other people. Also the ability to kind of ask for help. And sometimes when, we're at our bottoms, sometimes you feel like you don't have a second chance, but you can always open your hands. This one's also another like fun one, kind of spontaneous. It's called Footsie in the Sky. Got the Honolulu skyline, and like this tunnel-y rainbow thing, and then these shapes kind of like godlike toes playing footsie with each other. This is a pretty new one. This one's called Face Tunnel. It's actually a self-portrait. I'm really into tunnel imagery. Have been for a while. Still working with them. And I just thought I'd blend my face with the tunnel and explore that. I like this one because I like mixing this kind of different kinds of technique of like brushy, expressionistic brush strokes, and then this really tight line work in here. I like the dynamism, and it just makes it more interesting for me to work with, and creates different layers to the piece. This one I'm really happy with. I think I titled it At the Bend, something like that. Anyway, this one I'm happy with it because of the minimal outcome. There's actually a lot of work that went into it, a lot of different layers. You can see a lot of texture in here. But I'm happy with settling on this minimal landscape and concept of the tunnel with the hands coming out, and happy with this palette knifing, not being a perfectionist and letting a lot of that paint live its life and do its job however it wants to do it, and then come in with this tighter line drawing of the hands. Creates a cool, interesting relationship. So this is kind of somewhere that I'm wanting to go towards as a direction. Have all this history in there, but the end result has this kind of ease of composition and readability to it. This one's untitled, but it's a plant and bottle study. Kind of a take on the classic still life. I'm hoping to do more of these. They're a good way to exercise painting skills, and who doesn't like a good bottle and still life plant picture. So let's see here. This is If You See Something, Say Something. Maybe a little bit more of a political tone mixed with a little imaginative, a little imagination of this kind of ghost staring at the sky I was thinking of it like he's sitting on the subway or on the bus. And here in Honolulu on the bus, and I think around a lot of public transportation, there's the "if you see something, say something" slogan. So this is kind of a take on that. This guy seems to be seeing some kind of ghost. Is he gonna say something or is he not? Sometimes it's better to say something than not. So, just a fun little tunnel study here, playing with this brush stroke, using like a big fat brush and letting the ink do its thing. This is just a quick little fun thing to do. This one's called Midnight Worship. This one is like also like almost barely worked, but I'm happy with it because it's so minimal. And I just imagine this little hut or structure out in the middle of a field where you can just go and kind of do a meditation. This one is called Old Style. This one's a little bit more personal to me in my story. In my recovery from I would say excessive behaviors. So using this beer can. Okay, thanks Carlos, thanks for watching. I will. Beer can with the plant growing out of it. So kind of a themes of regrowth and growth from maybe something a little bit darker, like this guy. When the path presents itself, kind of an alter reality, stepping into a portal to another world, moving in between worlds. This one, I hope it works. So there's this character called Orco from the cartoon He-Man. So I'm an 80s kid, and I watched all that stuff. And Orco was I didn't really care so much about He-Man, but I liked Orco because he was this like little wizard sorcerer guy, but he was also the comic relief of the show. And every time he tried to perform magic, it like always backfired on him, and it was funny and interesting. And he had this hat, and you could never see his face, and so I think the mystery of Orco always stuck with me. This is in black and white, but the color of his like robe and the fact that he floated and all that was really just I fell right into that. So here's Orco possibly casting a spell. Also, because this is all made in 2020 during the pandemic, I feel like this is really representative of like, oh, here's a virus that we don't know anything about, and I don't know, let's just try some things and hope it works. That's kind of how I feel a lot of the response has been like, so kind of a comical, a response to that mixed with personal narrative and maybe an inner child response to it. And I just did this collage really quickly on my phone with another painting. So I took a picture of myself to use as a study, and then I did this painting, and then I like collaged it together really quickly, and I'm stoked with where it's going. Actually, this is kind of more influenced by, quick conversation on Instagram I had with a local artist here, where he was kind of talking about a cubist painting that he had made, and like how why didn't he just go for it? Because, like, the artist George Condo made a whole career of Cubism, even though Cubism was, modernism is thought to be over. But then George Condo continues with Cubism, has made a whole huge successful career out of it. And and I just responded, like, it seems like anything is up for grabs these days. Like, where are we at? Are we in postmodernism? Is postmodernism really, what has postmodernism given us, really? And he made kind of this little story about, like, us walking through the halls of postmodernism, opening doors, and there's nothing there. Or we're kind of this lost children. And so, to me, this is like I had another version where there's the cigarette with a palm tree growing out of it, which is like another motif I use. And I posted this on Instagram and called it Lost Child. This is kind of the lost child of postmodernism. Not really knowing what the future is going to be and trying to figure out what we even mean sometimes. So anyway, that was a quick little breakdown of what's happening at the ECM Vision Studio. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, if you liked anything you saw today, just DM me here on Instagram. You can email me, ecmvision.studio@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to my website, www.ecmvisionstudio.com, where you can buy prints, originals, leave me a message. Yeah. Cool. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be doing more like live painting stuff in the future, more like time-lapse stuff, and kind of digging into this a little bit more. I can go into more detail about some of this stuff, and just keep you updated on the progress of whatever I do. So thanks for watching, and take care.